Well, hello there, everybody. Now you can see my face. And welcome to my big and beautiful backyard. Today, we are going to be doing this a little live for you guys. Well, when I say we, I mean me. But anyway, I'm going to be doing this for you guys. Mostly, it is this week for my class. All of us have to do a live video, and I decided to do mine today because today is honestly a significant date for me, being June 2nd, and today marks 2 years since I came home from my mission, and I miss it greatly. Wow, I didn't expect this to be as hard as it is, but I miss being able to wear this. And I miss it a lot. And I think it's a good thing for people to understand that, yeah, it was one of the hardest things I ever had to give up because of CRPS. Ah, man, I'm already crying. already crying. Okay. But with today being June 2nd and the day that I came back, I felt like I needed to kind of share what I've learned along the journey, and that, you know, it's okay to go through hard things. It's okay for so with this little live today, I hope to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about what CRPS is and what it's like in a day in the life with CRPS, what I really experience on a daily basis that most people don't ever have a chance to see. And I also want to talk a little bit about how it led to starting my own YouTube channel and that kind of a thing. I think that there's a potential to share goodness out there. So with that, kind of this whole thing started when I posted this picture out on my Instagram and out on Facebook. And when I first posted this picture, it was kind of just because I wanted something that was going to visually show what my real life is really like. And, you know, some people even in my own ward, in my own neighborhood, like, had no idea that I even had a wheelchair. And so that was a little bit interesting. And I started getting these questions about, you know, like, is CRPS ever going to get any better? And the best answer I have to that is no, not really. Because it's a permanent thing, it's a permanent condition, and so I've kind of just had to learn to adapt my life to it. That's just the way it is. But to kind of tell the story of how this all went down is that I was hit by a car. Well, in the act of doing missionary work. I mean, it was unfair, but it was kind of just the way life goes. But this is the last time that I really got to wear my name tag. I came home on a Saturday, and our stake president was out of town. That flight home was probably like the loneliest flight I have ever had back to Salt Lake. Let's just put it that way. You know, and there were a lot of people like around that were all congratulating me on the plane, but I'm like, you guys have no idea that my crutches are in the back of the plane, and that, you know, I don't know if it's only gonna be like 6 months that I'm back. I don't know if it's gonna be 5 months. I don't know if it's gonna be like 4 months. I didn't know how long I was gonna be back. But being able to wear my name tag for the last time was honestly like one of the most amazing experiences, because I got to go in there, and it was a brave moment because I didn't know how people were going to react to it. But I'm so glad that my bishop made the announcement in church that day, like, hey, it's not my fault that I'm back. Like, I'm here. Unfortunate things happened, but people in the church came to me and loved me with a lot of Christ-like love. Sorry, guys. Totally crying, but But it was that Christ-like love that made it a little bit easier to go back when, yeah, like, I had every reason to be mad. I had every reason to say, no, to heck with this. Like, I'm just going to walk away from the church and never look back. But the fact that I didn't honestly says a lot about my testimony and about who I am. And it still does today. And after serving a mission, honestly, I never could bring myself to just walk away from everything that I knew. For several months, I was in this lovely brace. It was about 6 weeks that I was in this after coming back. And then right before we went to Glacier that year, I got another lovely boot. Oh, man. Totally been crying. Sorry, guys. And I had this one for about 6 weeks, I think. It honestly was the first time that I realized that my foot was very, very sensitive to touch in the journey. And that was hard because it was putting pressure right up against the scar on my foot, where we later did a surgery, but anyway, so I hated wearing that. And finally, in August of 2018, I got this lovely thing that I had to put up with for like a month, and let me tell you, casts are a pain. And it's a pain in the butt when you can't get them wet. So I was really glad to get it off. Funny story about that. I actually passed out when the doctor went to take the stitches out because apparently I'm squeamish. Apparently. But anyway, this is what it looked like a little while after I got the boot, the cast off. And honestly, it looks a lot more purple today. If you really want to see, you can stick it in the chat down below. And also, if you have questions for me, I want to hear it. Because that's really the purpose of this. It's not to say, necessarily, woe is me. That's not why I chose to do it. It's really more about educating people and kind of showing them hey, this is what it is. It's real. It's me being 100% honest with how CRPS really is. It's interesting the way that kind of everything turned out. But to say the least, I didn't know that I had a CRPS until January of 2019. And so that was when I was finally diagnosed, and there's no permanent cure to CRPS. So yeah, it is really difficult when people ask me all the time, is it going to get better or is it not going to get better? And that kind of a thing. And yeah, a lot of times they don't want to hear the fact that no, it's not really gonna get better because there's no permanent cure to it. But and it also forced me to give up a lot of things that I love. For example, after the surgery, but following that, I really wasn't able to work much. And yeah, that was hard. Having to give up my job and having to give up something that gave me a sense of independence, pretty much the only sense of independence that I had since coming back. And, I haven't been able to live on my own for quite a while, and that's been difficult too. But when I think about other things that I've had to give up, I used to be able to go to school. I used to be able to work and go to school at the same time and take a full load of classes. And now I really am only taking like one class, and so it's made some major life changes, and it's been difficult to deal with those major life changes. You know, giving up being able to live on my own, or giving up kind of the normal young adult life is interesting. So, hello, Sherry Bell. I love you. And hello, Hannah too. Like I said, for everybody else, if you guys have questions, leave them down in the chat below. I'll get to them. I definitely want to answer any questions that you have for me, either if it's about coming home early, if it's about CRPS, or if you just want to hear about my YouTube channel, that's fine too. So, kind of moving on to the physical aspects of what CRPS really is. You know, I have a little battle scar, and I laugh about that because that's like the one thing that I still have to prove that I was hit by a car. And the day that I was hit by the car, I literally just like laughed my head off because number one, I was in shock, and number two, I'm like, yeah, no one at home is gonna believe that I just got hit by a car. Until, you know, until they all saw it in a letter home that next Monday. But, you know, sometimes you kind of have to laugh it off, and I attempted to give the person that hit me a Book of Mormon. I wish I knew what happened to that girl, honestly, because it'd be pretty cool if she did end up joining the church after hitting a missionary. But, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize that CRPS is mentally exhausting just as much as it is physically. It's taxing, and it gets difficult, especially on my really hard days, where the pain scale of 1 to 10 is honestly not sufficient enough to describe the level of pain. And it's really hard to put into words what it feels like to someone that doesn't have it, but I'll try my best. Essentially, if you've ever broken a bone, and you can imagine what that feels like, I kind of have that feeling over and over again, stuck in this loop of replay. And so you can imagine it's quite painful. And yes, it does hurt all the time, constantly, 24/7. Yeah, the pain level goes up and down a little bit, but like the best pain that it like ever is in a certain day is like a 5. And my pain scale honestly goes to like 12. And 12 is when this kind of thing happens. Sorry, let me grab my picture. They're stuck together. Hold on, technical difficulties. But yeah, when I hit my bad days, that is what happens, and you just kind of laugh it off. You know, I've learned to just go along for the ride. You know, I joke around with the hospital staff at many different places. You know, I'm your favorite person, back again. You know, here we go again. But there are times that it gets bad and that I end up in the hospital, and it's all right, it's fine, it's just kind of part of the course. Unfortunately for me, there really hasn't been a treatment for CRPS that's been all that effective. For some people, things are effective, and for some people, lidocaine works. For some people, they can get the shots in their backs and it works. For me, I ended up just getting really sick, and it was great. But I also tried ketamine, and this was the pretty much the last ditch effort to try to do something to help it. And it was a 5-day infusion. Now, ketamine, if you don't know what it is a really strong drug, and honestly, they had to give me like anti-hallucinogens because it's so strong, and it can be kind of a terrifying experience, I'll admit. But I'm glad that I tried it. I mean, now I know that it doesn't really work, but it is one of the best things they can do for ER medicine, that kind of thing. I have a scooter to get around. I've had to apply for disability income because I haven't been able to work for. But I also spend a lot of time in the ER. I mean, it's like every couple of months. That just kind of is the way that it is. But to get to the good part and to get to the good stuff and kind of what has come from the fire and the pain and this just non-relenting, they call it trial by fire because a lot of times it is a burning sensation. But the trial by fire led me to find something really, really cool. And in that journey, I was able to find this YouTuber called Real Breaking Nate that makes videos on Pokemon cards and different Pokemon games and a little bit of Pokemon Go. And I already liked the Pokemon games before I ever went on my mission, before I ever got hurt. That was already something that I liked, that I was interested in, right? But it was one of those things that I didn't have to give up. And because I didn't have to give it up, it became more of a hobby for me because it was like that one hard to say like I can't anymore. And honestly, the videos that I found from Real Breaking Nate were like a lifesaver at that point because he's such a positive person and shares this very charismatic personality despite the fact that he has like really bad anxiety like every day. That inspired me, and that said to me, like, I can be the light. I can be someone that's out there helping other people know that they don't have to do this alone. And I wanted people to know that they don't have to do it alone, that you are not alone. And that's because I believe that, I believe that he knows what I'm going through on my hardest days. When I end up pretty much curled up in a ball, and when I can't move, and when I say, God, why can't you just take this away? Because it's hard. And because I want more than anything to go back and to serve people. I want more than anything to see people come into the church. But I realized that I'm never going to be able to do that as a full-time missionary ever again. But later, I also found that, God's mission for me wasn't necessarily to be full-time. And I didn't have to be full-time to be a good influence in the world. There's a lot of people that make Pokemon content out there that don't have the best standards, and it made me kind of mad. I was like, I just wanted something to watch on a bad day. And I realized that there was this great need for people that had positivity. And that was the beginning of it. That was why I started doing it. Hi, Ben! Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Just leaving me like all these amazing comments. It's totally making my day. But that is really how it started. And sorry. I have this runny nose now because I've been crying, trying to tell you guys about it, but it's like I'm emotional because I care. It's true. I'm emotional because I care. But so to kind of keep moving forward with that, YouTube became a way that I could kind of practice my skills and I could practice what I was learning in school. And so that's really why I decided to do it. Some people have been asking what they can do to help with CRPS, and I would say the best thing, some of the best things you can do is, you don't have to feel sorry for me. It's just kind of the way that my life is. you know, and just as I've had to learn to adapt to it, so has my family. You know, they've had to learn to adapt our family activities to it. And we've had to learn, you know, like, I don't do well traveling in the car anymore. So we probably would plan trips closer to home. You know, last time we went on a trip down to Oregon, yeah, my foot was a gigantic balloon after being in the car for like 2 days. You know, and they do things like, they help me with laundry. They do the cooking so that I don't have to. My family's been an incredible service to me in that way. You know, but if people really are asking me what they can do to help, honestly, a lot of it is, you know, be a friend, reach out. Let me know that you're thinking of me. If you stuck my name in the temple prayer roll, tell me. I never wore a black plastic name tag, yet I'm a rockstar missionary. Oh, thanks, Jimmy. He says, I'm proof that you too can be amazing member missionary. Rock on, rock on. So anyway, I think that, you know, like, when things are kind of better with the whole COVID-19 crisis and stuff, you know, invite me to go and do stuff, because I do like feeling that little bit of normalcy. I like going to a good party, okay? As long as there's not drugs or alcohol. Nah, I'm kidding. But I like a good party. You know, and I like something that can help me forget about what I'm going through for a little while. And that's another big reason why I do YouTube videos, is because it helps me forget about it for a little while. It helps me share my light with other people. Just like I'm doing today, you know, I'm just doing my best to share my light, to share my story with other people. And, you know, keep leaving kind comments. And kind of to wrap it up, if you want to go check out my YouTube channel, it's called Pokehaven. And if you want the link, I can DM ya. Ben says, I have a question. Do you know how amazing you are? Sometimes I forget, and sometimes I need people like you to remind me, so thank you. But to just wrap this up in the next couple of minutes here, I hope that you guys learned something about CRPS and about what it really is. And I also hope that you guys got to learn a little bit about my hobby and kind of like why it's a light in the darkness for me. Yeah. Anyway, do you guys have any more questions that you want to ask me? I know that hopefully I got to them, but I will stay here for just a minute and see if you guys want to ask me anything else kind of about CRPS, about the YouTube channel, or anything like that. But if not, I think we'll wrap it up. Thank you for coming out and watching and staying and supporting me, guys. You guys have a great day. See ya!